This is Bob. Bob is doing well. Very well indeed. That's because not long ago, with just a quick phone call, Bob realized that he could have something better in his life. And what did he get? Why, a big boost of confidence, a little more self-esteem, and a very happy missus at home.
I know this may be hard to believe, but advertisers don't always tell the truth about their products. Yes, there are laws against such things, but some rascally advertisers don't worry about such details. Now you may be asking yourself, Jim, this is about scams and cons, and you said those are actions that are person to person. Advertising doesn't work that way. You're right. Advertising generally goes to the masses with the hope of getting some individuals to react. From my point of view, when misleading ads can harm you, that's a con, and it is personal. This is Scams and Cons, and I'm Jim Grinstead. I won't tell you a victim's sob story, but I will tell you how the scam was pulled off. But don't think you can learn how to beat the next con artist that comes your way. If you're the mark, you'll never see it coming. Let's say a major car company told you its diesel cars did not contribute pollutants to the air, then intentionally rigged the car so emissions controls worked when regulators were testing. After that, the controls were disabled. Setting aside the moral and ethical implications, consumers may have purchased the car because it fit their goal of helping the planet. That was a con because it was intentional. It was personal because Volkswagen robbed customers of their choice. Now let's take a few minutes to chat with Dr. Oz. Here's the bit of audio we'll be talking about.
You may think magic is make-believe, but this little bean has scientists saying they found the magic weight loss cure for every body type. It's green coffee beans. And when turned into a supplement, this miracle pill can burn fat fast for anyone who wants to lose weight. This is very exciting, and it's breaking news. Millions of you love coffee, but now you're going to love it for a whole other reason. A staggering newly released study reveals that the coffee bean, in its purest raw form, may hold the secret to weight loss that you've been waiting for. The study, presented at a meeting of the world's largest scientific society, triggered unprecedented excitement for a weight loss study. It showed women and men who took green coffee extract lost an astounding amount of fat and weight, 17 pounds in 22 weeks, by doing absolutely nothing extra in their day. Could this be the magic weight loss bean to help melt away unwanted pounds that you've been waiting for?
That was played during his testimony in 2014 before a Senate committee that oversees advertising. This hearing was about weight loss product claims. Also testifying was Mary Engel, Associate Director for Advertising Practices at the Federal Trade Commission. The FTC has been battling claims about weight loss supplements for years.
Despite the continuing boom in the weight loss industry, there exists very little scientific evidence that pills and supplements alone can help one lose a significant amount of weight. Scientists agree that the foundation of successful weight loss is to eat a healthful, calorie-controlled diet and increase physical activity. Products that promote fast and easy weight loss without changes to diet or lifestyle deter consumers from making these tough but necessary changes.
Tell me more.
A second trend is the appearance of weight loss fads in mainstream media supported by trusted spokespeople. Our pending case against NPB advertising shows how the marketers of the Pure Green Coffee dietary supplement capitalized on Dr. Oz having featured green coffee bean extract on his show and calling it magic and a miracle. When consumers see products' ingredients marketed in sophisticated ways on respected media outlets or praised by hosts they trust, it can be difficult for them to listen to their internal voices telling them to beware.
That must have been really uncomfortable for Dr. Oz to hear, especially since he was sitting right next to her. He starts his defense by running through his resume and saying that he fights hundreds of false claims each year from people who say he endorsed their product.
To go further, I've devoted numerous shows to covering the exact anatomy of how a scam works and what to look for. I've launched a campaign called It's Not Me, and use various media partners to amplify the coverage. I devote a portion of every single broadcast to look directly into the camera. It's the last thing I say to the viewer, and tell them and reassure them that I don't sell anything. If they see my name, my picture, or any part of the show involved in an advertisement, do not buy the product. Check any show you happen to wander on. You'll see me saying that at the very end. We also created OzWatch, which is a way for viewers to report violations and report scams. OzWatch has collected more than 35,000 complaints from our viewers. We even hired a private company to help with these complaints and police the web, and have issued more than 600 cease and desist letters.
Dr. Oz feels for people trying to lose weight and knows that sometimes they need a crutch to get started.
So we search for tools and crutches for short-term support so people can jumpstart their programs. We use the alternative solutions often commonly used in other countries, in other parts of the world, like in the Ayurvedic tradition in subcontinent of India, or traditional Chinese medicine. We feature cleanses and new diet programs by promising authors. Now, many of these are controversial, as are the supplements that we researched and profile. But I would rather have a conversation of this material on my stage than in back alleys, because the conversation will still happen, especially if we can give viewers the boost that motivates them to engage in wise dietary choices.
He wraps up saying that the problem of weight loss scams will only be corralled if regulators crack down on it and private interests, like internet services, do a better job of blocking such ads. It's important to note that Dr. Oz has not been charged with doing anything illegal. The FTC is just expressing its concerns. The FTC is generally concerned with ads that promise to make you healthier, stronger, or longer.
This is Bob. Bob is doing well. Very well indeed. That's because not long ago, with just a quick phone call, Bob realized that he could have something better in his life. And what did he get? Why, a big boost of confidence, a little more self-esteem, and a very happy missus at home. To learn more about Enzyte, contact your doctor or call for Enzyte for a free brochure, or visit Enzyte.com. Enzyte, the effective, reliable way to natural male enhancement.
Bob may have been happy, but Berkeley Premium Nutraceuticals, the company that sold Enzyte, was not. It ended up going bankrupt after Stephen Warshak was arrested, along with 4 of his colleagues and his 75-year-old mother. Warshak was charged with 112 counts of mail fraud, bank fraud, credit card fraud, money laundering, and obstruction of justice. GQ magazine said several unindicted co-conspirators, among them Warshak's sister and her husband, would eventually cooperate with the government in hopes of receiving lesser sentences. All right, it's time to have some fun with false advertising, and we'll do that with a promotion for a new underground mall in Cincinnati.
While Cincinnatians have been gazing upwards at all their new tall buildings, they haven't noticed the most exciting construction of all, underground. Nothing on earth compares with what you will experience when you shop under the earth. Straight down, underground, where high prices will never see the light of day, where pollution is non-existent, and where the enormous energy savings of a naturally comfortable year-round climate get passed on to you. Does it sound unbelievable? Keep listening for more details as we approach the grand opening of... I'm sorry, we can't give it away just yet. But remember this name, Plummet Mall. The best value in town is a hole in the ground. Plummet Mall, opening in Greater Cincinnati soon.
That is big news. Huge news. The world's first underground mall. Except it wasn't true, and the campaign's creators, Jerry Galvin and Jay Gilbert, were serious about it. Except for that twinkle in their eyes. Here's how it started. In 1984, a major supermarket chain moved into Cincinnati, but the chain purchased very few radio ads as part of its promotion. Local radio execs were not pleased. Those execs approached Galvin about an ad campaign promoting the power of radio. The result was Plummet Mall. The campaign began in January of 1985. Radio stations donated time to the cause, and the ads played 30 times a week. The city was abuzz. Utility companies said that no one had applied for permits. The Chamber of Commerce was miffed because it was not included in the project. The problem was, how was it going to end? They couldn't announce a grand opening date or existing retailers might lose business. They had to find a way to end it, and they did.
Ladies and gentlemen, please pay careful attention to the following announcement. Recently, you have been hearing about the imminent grand opening of the world's first vertical underground shopping center, Plummet Mall. Plummet Mall is the opposite of a skyscraper, going several hundred feet underground with dozens of famous stores, plus conveniences like moving walkways and spiral escalators. But unfortunately, the grand opening of Plummet Mall will be delayed. The two severe cold waves that have recently plagued the Midwest have caused a radical expansion and contraction effect beneath the Earth's surface. This has caused a profound shift of underground land masses, some by several hundred miles. Plummet Mall has been a tragic victim of this phenomenon and is believed to now be located somewhere between Greater Cincinnati and Lincoln, Nebraska. Search crews and seismologists hope to locate it within a few weeks. Until then, the best value in town is a hole in the ground. Plummet Mall, opening somewhere soon.
Yeah, it's all fun and games until someone loses them all. Late in the game, radio execs decided to test the campaign's reach. Researchers found 60% of those polled recalled Plummet Mall when asked about a new shopping center in town. 10% is typically the recall rate. Galvin finally came clean at a press conference. They pulled off the scam with no victims. The announcements created both laughter and anger, but t-shirt makers came out pretty well with new lines of Plummet Mall apparel. Score 1 for radio. Now, back to the crimes. We'll start with Kellogg's, which recently settled a class action lawsuit brought by folks who believed the company misled consumers by claiming their cereal was healthy. That led customers to buy a product they thought was beneficial to them. The lawsuit alleged that increased sugar intake could lead to the development of various diseases, including obesity, diabetes, and hypertension. They said it could also cause liver, cardiovascular, and chronic diseases. In March 2021, the company agreed to settle for $13 million, which is expected to work out to about $16 per customer. A court still needs to review and approve the settlement. And finally, we travel to the world of influencers. And if you don't know precisely what that means, you're not alone. I haven't been able to find a definition that wasn't contradicted by another. The short version is that they are people who attract a lot of attention on social media. Think Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. And advertisers pay them to plug their products. Typically, they aren't movie stars because these unknowns come across as authentic and approachable. Wired magazine says influencers have upped their game and in some cases are demanding $50,000 to $60,000 to produce a single video. Advertisers are sometimes fleeced themselves. There's no good way to tell if an influencer's followers are real people and whether they bought something. Influencers can live a glamorous life, being showered with products and requests for personal appearances, but it doesn't always work that way. Let's use Brittany Dawn Davis as an example. She grew a base of more than 500,000 followers for her fitness programs on Instagram. The short story is that she overpromised and underdelivered, leaving thousands without merchandise they'd purchased and personal chats that never materialized. A storm of rage came her way, and she ended it with an apology that rang hollow with many of her followers.
When you're given an opportunity like this, you would be stupid not to take it and run with it, and unfortunately, I ran too fast for one person. These claims are coming from years ago after I got launched into a business that took off so fast that I didn't know how to mentally handle it. I did what I knew to do to the best of my ability. I didn't know what I was signing up for simply because being an influencer and running a fitness influencer business was not really a thing back then. Therefore, I didn't have much guidance. I'm not truly saying this as an excuse to my actions, but to give you all a much needed explanation as to why certain things happened the way that they did and fell through the cracks. At times, it got extremely overwhelming and I took on more than I should have, and for that, I take full responsibility and I am sorry.
Alas, truth in advertising regulations don't apply to political advertising. So I want to leave you with a message from Gil Fulbright, an honest politician.
Some people think that we cannot have affordable drugs in this country. They think Americans should be paying twice as much as everyone else, and they want us to be guinea pigs for their untried drugs. Those people, they're called pharmaceutical companies. And I would like them to contribute to my campaign. So fellas, if you're out there, return my calls, would you? Please? I'm Gil Fulbright. For the right price, I'll approve any message.
You can find his full ad campaign on YouTube. Just look for Gil Fulbright. People get taken by a scam or con because they want to believe they can become richer, smarter, or more attractive to a partner. But because they were the mark, they never realized they were being scammed. They never saw it coming. What you can believe in is that a new episode of Scams and Cons is coming in 2 weeks. Thanks for listening.